This is Gold Stars. Man, this wasn't anything what I thought it was gonna be. the picture before, because I was saying, like, man, I can see the pictures of the next one, so this is gonna be, like, something really crazy. It was a picture of the Lich on there, and I'm thinking, like, oh my god, he's back! And then that's, like, the first second, and then the little boy wakes up, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That was just a dream he was having. So it's mostly about his day and him going to school. He gets made fun of a little bit. And there's all these people watching him, waiting for him to, like, snap and go back to his, lichy ways. But he seems to be okay. And then these two people come, the original King of Ooo, who, I'm trying to remember, like, because we saw him. I can't remember if he did anything, like, super bad. I just remember he's bad news. Like, you just don't want him around. And Peebles especially is like, no, get the hell out of here, you phony, you fake. I mean, just, like, gets super, super pissed just at the mention of his name. So you know this guy's not good.
It was during Tree Trunks' wedding.
Yeah, the wedding, yeah. But he has this idea to teach him how to dance, which is just wiggling his belly. And it makes people laugh so much that they rob them. And yeah, he gets a gold star though, so he sees it as okay. And it's kind of almost like this Pinocchio story with, like, the fox and the cat tricking him and stuff. And then just, he turns back into the Lich for a little bit. He's just like, I will give you a gold star. Thank you, my teachers. And he goes back to being a little boy, and we have no idea what's going to happen now. So it's like, I guess it was a little bit what I was expecting, like, at the end. But yeah, I just completely forgot. I'm like, oh yeah, he's like a little kid again. And everyone's cautious and they think it's okay. But yeah, there's sort of, I guess, a typical Adventure Time format. There's just a ton of foreboding doom everywhere. It's like you got the comet, and now you have, the Lich can snap at any point. So yeah, it's just, at first I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be the episode, just this little kid going around, tee-hee, ha-ha, getting taken advantage of and stuff, but it just so catches you off guard when he suddenly does turn into that monster again, and kind of very quickly puts you in an uncomfortable place again. I sort of like just when everything goes black, before this there was nothing, before nothing there were monsters, thank you, my teachers, and I'll give you a gold star, it's, I like all that. I like it, just how quickly it can make you feel like, like you're in a bad presence again. But it's okay, because he can still do the belly dance and make the kids laugh, and, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Let's call it the Truffle Shuffle.
To the Truffle Shuffle, yes. Is that what they called it from Goonies? The Truffle Shuffle.
Do the Truffle Shuffle. Oh, I don't want to. Do it!
So, yeah, there it is. It's fine. It's a clever way of showing that, like, shit could still happen, in this body with this little kid and stuff. Yeah, I can't think of too much else to say about it. I mean, it kind of is what it is, unless you saw something that I'm missing.
Well, I need to say this because I haven't said it in so long. It's been like a week. I hate Disney. You brought up Pinocchio, so I have to say, because I always...
Well, not the story, Disney. Just the general story. It doesn't have to be Pinocchio.
It doesn't matter.
Or, I mean, the Disney one, but okay,
oh, yeah,
whatever.
It's been a week. I have to say, No, no, that's actually really how I saw it. It really reminded me of the whole Disney. It's the whole, yeah, don't worry, come with me. Actually, not being a fan of Tree Trunks, because if you remember, she was about to break up with Mr. Pig, because nothing was going right, then all of a sudden they had a baby. And it's like, oh yeah, that's right.
This will fix everything. And it's like it's not even really technically a baby, it's like the most awful, terrible being in a baby.
But if you notice, they're kind of terrible parents.
We're gonna go on a date, we'll leave you alone because your education's on the fridge. It shows how smart you are now.
But they're not even, like, being a parent, you kind of want to check up on your kid. You know, talk to your teachers. How are they doing? If Bree came home with an A, I wouldn't just be like, good job, I'm never going to communicate with anyone ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you're doing a good job. I still want to find out what's going on and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and to me it's just like, they're terrible parents.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a happy kid. So they're not terrible in this. They're not like, they're neglectful, if anything. You know, but they treat him well, and they are taking care of him and everything. And it shows how quickly someone can go from being happy to being completely mistreated and misused and taken down the completely wrong path. You know, because of these two, you know, jerks that are taking advantage of him, he went from this happy kid that didn't care that people were even laughing at him, to evil again. And, you know, if you look at most kids that are bullied or picked on, what happens? You go down that path, and sometimes the kids, you know, get stronger and fight against it, or those kids turn into bad kids.
Yeah, there's always, like, I feel like anyone that does get, like, bullied or made fun of or whatever, it's like, you're right, there's kind of those two paths. You're either going to be, like, extremely kind of, like you said, stronger, resourceful, and nice, and, well, I don't want to treat other people that way because it hurts, so I'm, you know, I gotta do that. Or it goes the opposite, where it's like, you can still be creative and stuff, but you're gonna be, like, an extreme angry, well, this is what I went through, this is all I know, so I'm just gonna spread that to others, that's how the world works, and that's how it's treated me, so, yeah, that is kind of interesting how just that little beginning can sort of split off these two paths. You know, in hindsight, it really doesn't make sense to give him to Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. Wouldn't it make more sense to give it to, like, Princess Bubblegum? You know, she's, like, the scientist. She keeps on top of everything, and she likes to keep an eye on everything. Wouldn't it make more sense to give it to her?
I completely agree. Remember when they dropped him off? I'm like, fuck.
I think they're just like, you know, they're relatively harmless. This should be okay. But maybe that is it. Maybe they feel, because there always has been kind of that controversy with Bubblegum about her, like, having too much power, and even she doesn't know if she should have that much power. That's always kind of a talk, so maybe that kind of makes sense. And with Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig, even though they're not going to be the best parents, they're most likely not going to abuse that power. At the very least, they're not going to know how to abuse that power. So, you know, they're going to be, you know, pretty harmless.
It's more the whole ignorance is bliss, to an extent, and that's kind of how I see Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig. It's kind of that whole, they're very ignorant to what's going on. They don't even realize what they have there, so there's no fear of them tapping into it or even kind of bringing it out.
Even like when he hands all the riches and the gold and stuff, oh, where'd you get all this bling? My teachers! Oh, well, that's nice. And, like, they're not going to ask for more. They're not going to try and get a profit out of it or try to, you know, utilize it to get all these riches. They're just, oh, that's nice, and just never question it again, you know. They're just not smart enough for that, or mean enough, I don't know. But, yeah, so, still don't know if that's the best choice, but at least it makes a little bit more sense in hindsight.
And, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, I love Ron Perlman's voice. Like, he has, like, just the best, like, deep, don't mess with me, I will, like, he does the best voice, and him as the Lich is so good. And yeah, when those eyes turn green and everything, and he starts talking into the Lich, it's like,
well, and what I like about Ron Perlman's voice is that it's a voice. Some people, you just recognize their voice right away. You hear, like, Christopher Lee or something like that. You go, oh, that's Christopher Lee, and you get it. But with Ron Perlman, it kind of takes you a bit. I mean, it's not that it's not distinct, but it's not so distinct that it's distracting. You know, I mean, you can see the character. If you saw him, then you'd be like, oh yeah, Ron Perlman, because that's like the world's most distinct face. You know, but just hearing the voice, it's like he can kind of become these other characters. You know, he can be, you know, a good, strong main character. Or he can be like a horrifying, terrible villain. You know, and both can really work.
His voice, like, you brought up Christopher Lee, and I like Christopher Lee. I like his Dracula work and everything. But he mainly plays villains, and that's kind of like what he's really good at, and that's what his voice is really, really almost like attuned for. But like Ron Perlman has a very commanding voice. Like when he talks, you're kind of supposed to listen, and he can play a good guy or a bad guy, and that voice just kind of works in either role. You know, and that's one reason why when he talks as the Lich, it's just like, I don't feel comfortable right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like this. Well, and it's so immediate. That's what I like about it. I mean, you just immediately, from this very cutesy episode, bright colors and mostly a little kid talking, so just to immediate fear.
Yeah.
And I love the way they just do that jump, and they just change the atmosphere so quickly.
Yeah.
No, I thought they did that very well, and I thought, even though, it's a fine episode, that sort of made the putting up with the cutesy-wootsy stuff throughout the majority of it totally worth it, because then when it does do that shift, you're like, oh shit!
Yeah.
And I thought that was both very effective and kind of funny.
Yeah.
That through most of this you're watching, this cutesy stuff, and then just suddenly, boom, in this dark place.
One thing I have to say, and it always drives me nuts in TV shows and movies when they do it, when someone overhears something and they're like, oh, wait, what did you hear? It's like, why would you answer that? And I love how Toronto, what did you hear? It doesn't matter. It was all bad. I mean, what did you hear?
We would take care of him.
I mean, what did you hear? Why would you tell them what you heard? And would they believe you?
I am a little curious what... It's like, because I kind of forgot about the King of Ooh until he showed up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, the wedding and stuff like that. And it just kind of made me even more interested. Like, yeah, what is his connection to Bubble Guy? Is it really father-daughter, or is it more... Because it looked like she kind of came from that pink oozy stuff or whatever, and it's like, did he somehow create that or father that? So I'm really curious to see, like, what the connection is, even if maybe there isn't one. Maybe he adopted her. Maybe she almost adopted him in a sense. Like, maybe she came across like, okay, I have to blend in somehow in a position of power. This will work. This guy's an idiot. So I'm like, but she also has this immense hatred for him. So I'm like really, really curious what the story is behind that.
I take him more as like an evangelist or someone along those lines that kind of comes in and is like, push out of the way. Look at me. I am the king of Ooh. Like, he seems to be a complete con man. Mm-hmm. That's the way I take him. And I don't apologize to evangelists. But it's like, he seems to be just a complete con man. Mm-hmm. Like, everything he's doing is kind of like just to get more money or get more fame or get more power. And that's why I think PB hates him so much. PB worked her ass off to get to where she is.
For all we know, maybe she was originally queen, and then he came in, fooled everyone to think he's king, so they demoted her to princess.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Maybe she actually was, like, in this huge, like, even bigger position of power. I mean, I guess it's pretty much the same, but, like, even the title reflected in it, and, like, he came about, and, like, it just convinced them all that he's the king. It's like, oh, but it's okay, you can still be princess, and then, like, she got rid of him or whatever.
That actually makes a lot of sense to an extent. It's that whole thing of like, PB built the Candy Kingdom. She built the people, and then someone else just kind of come in and said, I'm the king.
Yeah, and he kind of seems like the con artist type who would do that, and the people seem dumb enough to fall for it. So yeah, it could be one of those things where it's like, maybe that'd be a really funny backstory actually, if that is what happened. So yeah, no, I'm really curious what that is. So yeah, to all the evangelicalists watching, I know nothing about your religion, so I can't comment on it.
Well, most of them are like Christian, for the most part.
Oh, okay.
And when I say that, it's like stretching it. Yes, obviously it's not like the most common ones, but for the most part, it kind of goes down those lines. But they're kind of bizarre.
Isn't all religion just Christianity?
No,
I think you're wrong.
I mean, like Satanists really wouldn't be.
That's still technically from Christianity.
No, actually, technically, Satanists only use the word Satan as a means of kind of like getting a reaction. They don't actually worship Satan.
No. I like just all religions being one. It's both profound and close-minded. That's what I like about it.
Okay, I'll accept that.
But will you accept a new car? I have no ending.